Hey gamers, what's up? So today I'm going to answer a series of questions from Patrick Schroeder, and he's doing a little article thing for his website and wanted some questions answered from me about the store and about what I do and some more personal things also. And I thought they were good questions and I wanted to share the answers with all of you as well. So with no further ado, let's get started. For the people who do not know, can you tell us a little about yourself, what you do for a living, and what you've done in the past for work? Well, a little bit about me. I am a self-professed geek slash nerd. I really get into anything that fits into that culture: movies, video games, toys. I love it all. I'm kind of a big kid. I think a lot of men are. And what I've done in the past, I was, of course, in the United States Army for a little while. And I cooked for a while. I had a chef's position when I started my first video game thing, which was in 1999. And probably about 2 years later, around 2001, I got a chef's position and I was doing video games and working as a chef. Did that for a year, both, and then quit the chef's job to work on video games, and I became a pastry chef at a place called the Mohawk in German Village, and did that for a while, and then did the full-time store in 2005, the end of 2005, maybe 2006, and have been doing a retail video game store ever since. It's been very cool. I really love what I do, and yeah, that's kind of the basic resume up till now. So, you have been in the military. What was that like, and what did you serve as? Yes, I was in for 11 years. Part of it was active duty, part of it was reserve. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. It helped me hone my focus skills, and it offered me the structure I needed in life that I just didn't have when I was growing up, when I was a kid. I think had I just gone off to college, I had a few theater scholarship offers, and just kind of one day decided to join the Army. Literally, in one day I did it. I went and I had spoken with a recruiter before, and I don't know, I just called him up. I said, let's go take the ASVAB tomorrow. That day I looked at jobs, I signed the paperwork, and I said, how soon can I leave? They said 30 days. 30 days later, I was gone. And I don't know why, what made me do it. It was just kind of some drive I had. I always felt kind of patriotic, and I wanted to do something for the greater good, and I wanted to serve my country, and it really worked out for the best. I got to travel, I got to meet people, I got to see the world on a level that some people just don't get to see, and I think it was all positive for me. So that was really great. I did dietary work in the Combat Support Hospital. I was in the 2291st, but I was also attached to the 452nd, and I worked at the 67th Medac in Würzburg, Germany. It was all great stuff. I met great people. I had great friends and experiences that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. Would you like to go back in the military, or would you rather stay where you are now? I would totally go back in. I could go back in the reserve, do another 9 years, and actually catch a retirement from the military. And I mean, I do miss it. I miss it very much. There's kind of a hole in me where the military used to be, and the camaraderie, the brotherhood. I mean, a lot of people probably don't see it, and a lot of people say, oh, the military, blah, 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 and the government, blah, 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 but you really do feel like you're doing something better than yourself. And when you're in a combat support hospital pulling humanitarian missions, it can feel real good what you're doing, offering aid and medicine to people. And, you know, it's not all about fighting, and it's not all about the front line, and it's not all about Iraq and the Middle East and everything. There's a lot more. My unit went to Panama, Haiti, Germany. We did a lot of things, and we offered a lot to a lot of people. And you feel pretty good about yourself when you do that. So yeah, I would definitely go back in. Working in your own game store seems like a dream job for gamers. Is it for you? You know, I get that a lot. People come in and they say, oh, you have the best job ever. It must be awesome to work in a video game store. You get to play video games all day long. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is work, what I do. I'm constantly doing paperwork. I'm constantly filing tax forms. I'm constantly dealing with distributors. You know, there's a lot going on that people don't see, kind of the behind the scenes of the business. I play video games less now than I ever have. It's hard to find time to play some Fallout or to, you know, jump into my retro collection and play a game that I've wanted to play for years. And I mean, just like any other job, it's work. So Is it my dream? Yes. Did I fulfill it? Yes. But is it everything it's cracked up to be? Not always. And I didn't see that. You have to, I guess, kind of be here doing it before you realize that's what happened. Would I trade it? Probably not, because it has been a great experience. I've learned a lot, and there is part of me that still enjoys a lot what I do. But I feel like you don't always want to take what you love and make a job out of it. And that's maybe a lesson everyone has to learn on their own, and it might be different for other people, but for me, that's the way it is. Do I love what I do? Absolutely. Do I love video games as much as I did before? Yes, but it is a lot of work, and you have to be prepared for that. Being surrounded with awesome games and gadgets is awesome, but I'm sure there are things that are annoying about having your own store. Yeah, well, as I said in the last answer, it's not all fun and games. Sometimes I'm a little more vocal than I should be, and it may just be me. Maybe I'm not right for retail, and I do tend to work a lot of the hours here to keep my overhead a little lower than it would be if I just had employees working all the time. And I'm more vocal with rude customers or disrespectful customers than I would be with other people, and maybe than other customer service representatives would be with customers, because really I feel like I don't have to take anyone's crap, and it gets me into some funny situations sometimes and some pretty big arguments. I've kicked people out of the store, and I mean, these are extreme situations, and these are very rude, nasty people, and I wouldn't just kick someone out for saying something I don't like, or because someone's a fanboy, or because someone likes something I don't. But if someone comes in and they're nasty with me, or they curse at me, or they yell at me, or they throw something at me, which has happened, I'll put them right out of the store without a second thought. It's really nice sometimes when I meet new gamers and we have great conversations, but not always the best thing when someone comes in and they're really nasty to me. What was it like having your first customer? Were you nervous? And do you still see that person? It's really a funny thing, like, who was my first customer? I remember setting up at the flea market and those first people coming into the booth, but it wasn't a big deal then to me, I guess. I didn't think about it. Then I moved around in the flea market a little bit. And then when I finally opened up my retail store, my friend James, who is my partner in CTS Promotions, we do the Columbus Toy Show together. You've probably seen some of the Columbus Toy Show videos on my YouTube channel here. And he was my first customer. I still have the first dollar bill he spent at my store framed and here hanging in the store. So my first customer is kind of an awesome story because it was a good friend, and we're still good friends. That's that. Can you tell us the most awkward or craziest thing you have seen a customer doing? Really, there's no limit to the, just the weird and wacky stuff I've seen, especially in a mall. You just get all sorts of people. You get people, you're not a destination a lot of times. You're kind of a walk by, an impulse, and people walk in. I mean, the other day I had a guy trying to convince me that Charles Manson was his uncle. I had a guy not too long ago trying to tell me his mom was married to the guy who created Zelda, and he had this rare book about Zelda. I think he had the Hyrule Historia, and he was just making up a story around it. I've had people lie to me about all sorts of things, and people try to return things with the wrong receipts and deceive me, and I've had people who come in and they're just kind of nuts, just outrageously mad. I get people coming in trying to preach to me all the time who have no intention of buying anything from me. They just walk from store to store trying to preach, and I don't like that. I'm here to do business. And there's just, like I said, it's limitless. There's all sorts of things. I've had people come in and ignore me. Like, I'll greet them, hey, how you doing? And then turn around 3 minutes later and get mad at me for not being social with them. Like, you could greet people when they come in. And I'm like, I greeted you. It's really weird. There's a lot of weird stuff. I've had a guy come in the store playing with himself, and not like exposed, but it's crazy. I guess if you work retail, you're going to see some crazy stuff, and I'm sure anyone else who works retail has seen a lot of crazy stuff too. And this is just, of course, scratching the surface. Normally on my Facebook page, I'll write about my customers. It's kind of my way to vent. And not on the L1 page, of course, but on my personal page. And people laugh at the stories I have because it just gets crazy. And I've had a few major confrontations with people who come in being really wacky too, that I've had to kick out of the store. But I guess, working retail, you're bound to see that kind of thing. How long have you run the store? Any plans for quitting and doing something else? Well, I started my store in 1999, but that was just a flea market thing. I was doing the weekends. Between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was 24 hours of work. At that time, I was also working as a cook, and I got my chef's position at that point too, so I did both. I ended up doing that until I did the full-time retail thing in 2005 when I opened up my full-time store at City Center Mall, which was a really nice mall downtown. And it was kind of one of those failing malls though. It was about 75% capacity and not building up, it was going downhill. But it gave me a great opportunity to put my foot in the door, the full-time retail door. And from there, you can watch my YouTube channel. There's everything I did from there on is actually documented. And I kind of moved to Hilliard, then I moved here to Tuttle Crossing, and this mall's at 100% capacity. It's very nice. I get a lot of customers, and it's really cool. So it's been a good progression, but it did go from that part-time thing to the full-time retail thing. So the full-time retail thing now, almost 11 years, but all in all, for about 16 years I've been doing this. Whether I would do something else, that all just depends. I do have a business model up here that I really would like to see get off the ground, and I would leave video game retail to do this. It is also video game related, but I don't want to give too much information on it because I think it's a great idea and it's something I might pursue in the future. But I mean, yes, I would. I'm really not cut out for retail. I do this because I love video games. I love sharing games and video game history with other gamers, and I like working for myself, but I don't know, everyone says, it's the best thing in the world, you must love what you do and everything, and I do, but you do get kind of burnt out after 16 years, and you kind of do want to make a change here and there. Would I make that change? If something good came up, yes, but right now I have no intention of dropping the store or anything, so I'll probably do this for a good while still. What are some of the games you're currently playing, and what are you looking forward to playing? Well, right now, of course, I'm playing Fallout 4. I've been playing Sniper Elite 3 also. I still dabble in Minecraft every now and then. I know it's kind of passé, but I love it. And I normally jump on the free games on PSN and Xbox Live. So I played Numa recently, for example. What I'm looking forward to, I still want to play the new Tomb Raider game. I haven't played Rise of the Tomb Raider yet. And as for unreleased games, the PS4 has a few great games coming. I'm really looking forward to The Last Guardian. That's something I've been waiting for a long while. I think a lot of people have. And No Man's Sky, I think, looks phenomenal and vast, and just it looks like it has endless playability. So I'm really into trying that out. Of course, Uncharted 4. There are a few games here and there, but I think those are probably my most anticipated. The new Mass Effect, I know they're working on a new Mass Effect, so that would be amazing. Yeah, so those games. Can you show us your gaming setup? Actually, I can't right now, unfortunately. Bought a house, and right now all my games are stored, so I don't have them out on display. I'm going to refinish my basement, and then I have a gym upstairs, and I'm going to move my gym to the basement, and then my gym room will become my game room, and hopefully within the year that'll work. But you can see part of my collection in some of my older videos. I did a building a game room series, which was a lot of fun, very informative, I think, if you're ever looking to build your own game room or looking for ideas. And that series, I think, at the end there, like episode 4, I started showing some of my collection as it was on display in that room. And that's about the closest I've gotten in a long while to showing off my whole collection. But in the future, yes, I will be showing off my collection right on my YouTube channel. Are you more of a console gamer or a PC gamer? If you game on PC, what is inside the rig? Actually, I'm more of a console gamer. I grew up on consoles. It's what I've always played. I've always appreciated the ease of console gaming versus PC gaming. They've done a lot to PC gaming that I don't like, and a lot of the DRM and registration codes and everything that were happening way early in the game seemed to kind of ruin it for me, and it ruined collecting for me. I do respect PC gaming. I think there's a lot more that can be achieved with PC gaming, but for just user friendliness and ease of gaming, I stick with console. I do have a Asus Republic of Gamers laptop that's really nice, but I really end up using it more for editing my YouTube videos than I do playing games. Although I have downloaded Steam and I do IndieBox, So every time an indie box comes, most of them now have the Steam codes. So I load the Steam code up so I don't have to open up my indie boxes. But that's about the most PC gaming I do. Virtual reality is going to be the next big thing. Well, that's according to Facebook and Sony. Have you tried the Oculus Rift? And will you be buying the retail version? Yeah, I think what they're doing with virtual reality is really cool. I don't think the future of gaming personally is something you wear though. I think it's more of an augmented reality type thing. If you look at Microsoft's Room project, something like that I think is really cool. I imagine a day where we'll have OLED screens that roll off onto our walls, or even paint that you attach leads to that work like LED screens, and your room will become your environment around you. Of course, I will buy something like Oculus Rift when it comes out, and I'm really into that idea and anything like it. So I think it's all very cool. I don't like wearable technology, and I don't think that's something a lot of gamers really get into, just wearing something big on your face and gaming that way. Kind of takes me back to the Virtual Boy days where, you stick your face to it and you got 3 friends who don't have one, and what are they doing? They're just standing around watching you with your face in a device. Just doesn't strike me as the way to go. But if you watch, remember the movie Gamer, where the dude would just lay down in his room and everything was kind of just, his whole room was his interface? That's kind of the future, I imagine, for gaming. And it's kind of like Room, for example, or augmented reality, HoloLens is a great example also of, but which is also wearable technology, which I don't think is the way to go. But these things that turn your environment into your interface. And I think that would be really cool. Something where your whole room is your computer screen would be really cool. And I really think that's the future, kind of early holodeck or danger room technology, where you can just hit a button and your walls turn into your environment. And I don't know, that's the way I see it happening, but we'll see what happens. As for whether I'll get Oculus Rift, of course, I would really be into a retail version of something like that, because it is immersing and it is very cool. So that's something I want to try out, but I don't think it's the be-all, end-all of gaming. I think there's a lot more we can do, and I see a big horizon ahead where some really amazing things are going to happen in gaming. And that's it. So, hope you guys like the answers to the questions. Thanks, Patrick, for the questions. And if you guys have questions, throw them down in the comments, and I'll see about answering them in a later video. Christmas is coming up, so I have a lot going on there. You can also catch my Elf on a Game Shelf photo series on the L1 Games Facebook page. So go to the L1 Games Facebook and like it, and you can see all those. They're a lot of fun. I've been putting my gamer elf in a lot of different video game situations, and with a lot of cool video game consoles, controllers, and all that stuff. So he's been having a good Christmas, and I hope you do too. So I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.